Welcome back to Cincy Diesel Repair. I kind of got started without you. I'm pulling the turbo off of this 04, the one we did the diag on. If you didn't see that, go back and watch it. Pretty simple to pull the turbo on these trucks. This one is obviously junk, if you saw the video. I already got it out of here, but your boost tube, just like this, comes off the turbo, routes over here, and comes down to there. There's a clamp there, which I left on sitting down there, and there's a clamp here, just like these. They're 11 millimeters. Undo those, pull the tube, get out of your way. Also, take off your battery terminals, because we're going to have to, well, we might not have to pull the alternator. We'll see if we can do it without pulling the alternator, because this one's a dual alternator truck, and they're a pain in the butt to get the belts off of real quick. But go ahead and make sure you disconnect the batteries, because your positive terminals here, if you hit it, you'll have a wiring harness, which should look like this. But this one's been, we're just gonna have to put some zip ties and stuff back in there, because that keeps that harness from falling down on all the hot components. We don't want it to, so we'll fix that later. But you'll just kind of pull your harness up out of the way. A lot of times I'll take and put a bungee cord there and run it like up to the spot in the hood or something, just to keep this pulled up. I undid the clamps. This is your downpipe clamp, again 11 millimeter, and that is your uppipe clamp, again 11 millimeter. Once you get them loose, you might have to smack them with a pry bar and a hammer to get them to pop. This one's usually more stubborn than anything. Then I get a 1/4 inch 10 mil. That'll take out these two top bolts for the oil feed line. There's an 8 mil right there, and you get the feed line out of your way. And after that, all you got left is just, what are they, 13? No, 10 millimeter here, and a 10 millimeter right. Let's see if I can get you. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it. It's right back, right about here. There's a 10 millimeter there. And then there'll also be one straight down in the very back, and you kind of got to reach both hands around to feel it. This truck's actually missing it. I'll show it to you when I get the turbo out here. All right, so we got this off here. You can see there's some oil in the back of here. And let's see if I can do this. So there's your, it's completely, I believe it's completely broken off. We'll find out here in a few minutes. See if that housing's reusable. It might not be. That would suck. But so the bolts I was trying to show you, I showed you that one. Then you have this one. Usually I send an extension under this wire loom to there. And then there should be one right there where that rusty spot is, going straight down. This one was missing. Obviously a whole bunch of oil in the downpipe. So I'm guessing this wheel, I don't know if it's snapped or not, but we're gonna find out. I actually have to take this apart and measure. I have to go back and look at my email. But this being an 04 truck, it could have an 03 or 04 turbo. They were different sizes. So K and W want me to measure it and send it to them, so they're sure that this the one we're sending out's the right one. So I guess the next stop is let's take it in the back to the workbench and tear it open. And if you guys were wondering, Miss Marley, the new shop dog. She's doing really well in her training. And the reason she's looking over there is because that's where she used to live. But nothing bad happened. They have 3 young boys. She loves the boys. That's who she's looking for. She's waiting to see if her buddies come out, but they just didn't have the time they felt she needed. And they know that if you guys ever watched my old videos, you would have seen my black and white pit bull mix running around. Unfortunately, she passed away 2 years ago, and I just haven't had a dog since. But I've known this one since she was a pup, and she's 6 now. But she never quite caught on to the training part, so she would like to venture off, and they were just afraid something bad would happen to her. So I agreed to take her and let her live right here so she can still see her boys, because she is attached to those little boys. So yeah, so she's the new shop dog, and she's doing very well. Okay, so we got it on the workbench here. First thing, compressor housing. It just sits on there. It can only go on one way. See that notch right there? It has to line up with that guy, which is going to be right here, just like that. You want to see it locks in. All these exterior bolts are 12 point, so either a 12.8 millimeter socket or a wrench. You can pull that off. Here we can see how much movement we got. Next, we're going to do this. There's a V-clamp that holds the exhaust housing off, 11 millimeter, and some penetrating. Then again, you're going to need a chisel or a punch. Get in here and punch it this way, punch it that way, and just work it until that band comes off. And then you're going to have to tap this housing. Very easy, either dead blow or very easy with a regular hammer, and eventually that housing will come off. Alright, so mine just popped loose here. I just gave it a few taps around with this, and mine's probably coming apart a little easier than most because somebody put that wheel on right there. And in order to do that, well, you don't have to take the back off, but that's the right way to do it. And there should be an O-ring here too. It's there, I think. Anyhow, so once it pops loose, you want to do it this way because there's the VGT's fingers sitting here. So, oh, we got carnage. Yep. So there's your bearings, which are just trashed. They just fell right out of the housing. All this is supposed to be up in that housing. Spacer, bearing, yeah, all that's supposed to be in the housing. Your exhaust wheel, which is obviously trashed. It snapped the shaft. Probably turbo back spool. That's the original turbo. When I say balanced, you see this cut in the turbo wheel right here? That cut, and then it stops. That's how they balance a wheel. And this is, sorry, I had to wipe the sweat. This is a Ford wheel, so that's a factory wheel. These are your VGTs. They're not frozen, but we'll clean them up. And the exciter ring here. So see how they open and close? That depends on how, or it depends the direction the air is forced onto this turbine wheel. You want to look right here to make sure this isn't wallered out, that it's nice and uniform straight on either side, because your VGT solenoid, this is the little arm that works it, right here, and we're going to get some oil pouring out there if I go messing with it. I don't see any damage here. I think we're okay there. Your exhaust housing can only go on one way. See this pin? See that? So you don't have to worry about marking it. And these all just come right up out of here. Just take photos of everything if you're not sure. And you want to look for just any wear, anything weird on the exciter ring. Then all your VGTs. It's not really VGTs. It's vanes. They pop right off. And then you can clean this area up. We'll go over all that. For now, the exhaust housing though, we'll sit down here. Let's flip this back over. This should come out. There shouldn't be anything left holding it in. Okay, give me a second. I can't do this one-handed. Okay, so long story short, this I'm trying to figure out the zoom on this thing, but anyhow, this turbo is wasted. And the why I say that is, so there's the shaft completely broken off the wheel. The shaft is always attached to the exhaust turbine wheel, and it goes into the turbo this way, and then your fancy billet wheel screws on to it right there. Well, what's happened here is it could have been when they installed this they over tightened it, but I've seen them snap down at the bottom of these wheels from that. It could have been turbo back spool getting on it hard, dumping off the throttle. It sheared it. But the problem is I can't get that shaft out because there's a thrust washer, and you're not going to see it. The thrust bearing that keeps the movement from this way is right in there. So the shaft goes through there and kind of locks in. So you're supposed to hold the turbine wheel back here by that nut and then loosen turbine and loosen the impeller wheel, take it off, and then you can pop the whole shaft and everything out the back. Well, there's nothing left for me to hold to loosen this up to get the rest of the shaft out of this housing. And I could probably come up with something, but it doesn't matter because right here, if I'm a little pointer, right here, there's supposed to be grooves. And those rings right here have to lock in and sit in those grooves to prevent oil from coming out the back of the turbo. So because this was just in there rattling around, not only did it screw up the exhaust housing, it screwed up these grooves to where it's always going to be puking oil out, so you can't use it. I imagine there's more damage in there. I don't know. I mean, it tore up this edge right here pretty bad. Right here's milled away pretty bad. Yeah, I'm just... There's no way to use... I won't say no way, but there's no feasible... It doesn't make financial sense to reuse this. You're talking machining, and I don't even know if it's possible. But anyhow, we'll just... that turbo is officially done. Dead. So, I am soaked. It is humid. I need to go find answers for this guy. Can we get a turbo core? and maybe just use the core with the $480 KC turbo setup we're going to get? Or does he just want to put a used stock turbo on it? Does he want to put a new stock turbo on it? So I'm going to go figure that out for him. In the meantime, stay tuned for whatever comes next. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe. Like always, I truly appreciate it. See ya.